All right, how is everyone doing today? And big stuff happening. And you have probably seen or heard about the article from today's golfer listing the top 100 most influential golfers of 2022. And I had to take some time and digest this and understand it, find out what was going on before I made any comments or remarks, because I really wanted it to settle in. Because at first glance, I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. Let's see who's on this list. Let's look in there. And I was like, what? What is this? And then I was like, all right, give it some time, chill out, relax, look into this. And then the more I did, the more I was like, what's this? Unbelievable. How can this be? And so I'm going to fix it for you, for everyone. And I'm not saying that or any of this because I'm not even in the top 100. I don't care, right? It's we'll get into it, but that's not a big deal. I don't try to be in there. That's not my goal or at all. I did find it interesting how some other influencers like YouTubers were in there that had so much less views, subscribers, reach than my channel. So it was peculiar. So I was like, okay, why? What was the criteria here? So I looked into it, read the article many times, and they went on 7 different criteria to determine their ranking. All right, so they went with like equipment design. So if you're making equipment, you can get up to like 10 marks, 10 points or whatever, right, in their rating system. Course architecture would be also 10 points. Instruction, I figured I could get some instruction points there, but that would be one of, there's 10, maximum 10 marks or points, whatever. And then you could get inspiration. If somebody's inspired, I'm pretty inspirational, so you can get 10 more points there. And then you get financial influence. You can get up to 25 marks for that. I don't have any financial influence on anybody unless I help steer you to where you're spending your money, but probably talking about people who spend a lot of money, invest a lot of money in the game. Voice. So if you just have a good voice, like you're known in the golf world, like Tiger Woods, right? He's got a huge voice. And then innovation. So if you're an innovator in the game, then that would be something that would give you some points. So that was their criteria. Here's where I really have the biggest problem with this list is that it's from the publication is a UK-based golf publication. So then when you look at, let's say, the YouTubers on this list, all of them, I believe, except for 2, are UK-based influencers. And so some of the ones that are much, let's say, smaller than my channel, they're UK. So it seems like there's a definite bias toward the UK influencers, which is fine. It is a UK-based magazine. And what I've noticed over the years is that the UK, the media in the golf world, really supports and lifts up the online content creators, which I love. I love that. I love that they do that. The US-based media steers typically away from us, whereas in the UK, they lean in toward them. And I don't know why, but I think they do a better job over there in that regard than is done over here in the United States. It seems like we're looked at on a large scale as more like the enemy or competition to mainstream golf, like Golf Channel or and whatever's, publication there is, Golf Digest or whatever. It seems like we're more looked down upon than up upon, if that's a thing. So that's where I think the bias would lean heavily toward the UK audience. With that being said, I also noticed something about this article. If you look at the cover of like the main image you see all the time, right? What do you see? You see who's on the cover. You obviously have Tiger and Rory. You have Lydia Ko. You have Rick Shields and Niall Horan and Paige Sporanic. They're on the cover. Interestingly, I was thinking, wow, so that all those people should be in the top 10, right? No, they're not. Only Tiger's number 1. We all know that. Rory's up there at what number was Rory? Did they put him at? They put him at number 10. And then you have Lydia Ko is on that main image. What number do you think she is in the top 100? Where did they rank her? They used her for the cover. So if she's so influential, right, to make the cover that you would recognize her, they put her at number 82. 82. But yet you're on the cover. This is weird, right? To me, that's off. It didn't seem right. Why not put people who are actually in the top 10 or really up there that you would No, they don't do that. They put people that you would recognize. So what? You recognize Rick Shields. But he's number 24 on the list. Yet he makes the cover. Now, Paige Sporanic, who's number 34 on the list, is on the cover also. And it's interesting because we're talking about golf influence. I would say she's a good golfer. She's a decent golfer. Is there influence? Does she have an influence on the game? Are you making decisions in golf based on her? It's kind of like saying Pamela Anderson would be ranked among the top 100 lifeguard influencers of all time, right? You're not making lifeguard decisions and choices based on Pamela Anderson from Baywatch. You wouldn't do that. I think with Paige, it's the same thing. Maybe she has the most followers on Instagram as any other golfer, but is she that's where we got to say, is it a golf Instagram account or is it something else? Because if it's something else, then it's not golf, and the influence isn't golf. So that's where I think this publication really went for eye candy in that regard. And, they really catered to a lot of people who don't necessarily have a lot of influence. It's more of a bias towards the people that they want to promote for whatever reason, because they're in their home country or some other reason. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fix the top 10. I'm going to give you the real top 10, in my opinion, because I think these are the people that actually had the most influence in golf in 2022. Now, I don't think like club makers really have an influence, because if you're a club maker or a CEO, let's say of Titleist or something, that's fantastic. But I can choose Callaway or Srixon or whoever else. So that influence, that wouldn't really influence me too much. I have choices. So somebody that uses your equipment would influence me more than somebody who makes the equipment. And that's where I think, if we're talking influence, then that's what I think we need to do. So here is what I would say is, now, Niall Horan, the pop star, I wouldn't even know what band he was in, or what, but I've heard of him. I know he's heavily into golf, and he started a media company, I believe a golf media company, something in that regard. So, and because he's so into it, like he and Justin Timberlake, I think have a lot of influence in the game. So Justin Timberlake wasn't even on the list. See what I'm saying? Like, where's Justin Timberlake? He has a ton of impact on the game. You know who else does? Charles Barkley. Man. Anyways, I would put So I would take Niall, who is number 17, and I would move him to number 10, but I would include Justin Timberlake in there with him. So Niall and Justin Timberlake are together because I think both of them have a big influence in golf. Then number 9. Now, this gentleman is on the list at number 14, and I will also continue to keep him on the list, but I move him up 5 spots to number 9, and that's Fred Ridley. He's a member of Augusta National, and he is integral in the Masters tournament, like the chairman. So he shapes not only that event, which is the biggest event, the biggest tournament in golf every year, but he also influences all the other events, and he would be somebody that the tour commissioner and everybody else would want to consult and talk with and try to be on the same page. So I'm moving Fred Ridley up to number 9. Number 8, I'm making this 2 people. And it's Yasser Al-Rumayyan, His Excellency is what they call him, and then Mohammed bin Salam, forgive me, but the Prince of Saudi Arabia and His Excellency Yasser Al-Rumayyan, who is really in charge of the money. These two, one has the money, one really kind of manages the money. And I'm going to move both of these guys up to number 8. They are both on the list. One's at 20, one's at 26. And they actually are trying to build a number of golf courses in Saudi Arabia. They're doing that. And they're trying to get more women in the game, believe it or not. So that's what they're doing. They're doing a lot of good for the game. And not to be a live like flag bearer or anything like that, because I'm not necessarily, but I do. But they did have a lot of influence by starting the Live Golf League, paying for it and getting players over there. So they had a huge influence in the game. So I'm moving both of them up together. I know I'm kind of cheating by putting 2 people, but I think they're together in what they do. So they're both at number 8. Then number 7, I am going with this person we talked about was number 24. I'm moving Rick Shields up to number 7. He has the largest golf YouTube channel with the most subscribers, amongst the most views, and he has more influence in the game than many of these people. When he does a club review or he's talking about golf or he's doing stuff, he gets millions of views a month. So his influence amongst people making golfing decisions is huge. He, in my opinion, should be in the top 10, and I'm putting him at number 7. Number 6 is somebody that was on the list at number 44, another golf YouTube channel, and that's Good Golf. I'm putting them in the top 10. They have the second most subscribers of any golf channel out there, and they currently get the most views per month. So they are having the biggest impact, really, in golf amongst the younger generation, the younger viewers. I'm bumping them from 44. How they are not ahead of, Rick, or close even in this magazine's ranking, I have no idea. Other than, like we talked about earlier, there could be some bias there because Rick is a UK creator and Good's an American creator, and this magazine's UK. So I don't know how you put them at 44 and Rick at 21 when Good went from like nothing to over 1 million subscribers in 2 years, and they currently have the most views that's where it's ridiculous. That's why it doesn't make any sense. So you're welcome. Good, I think should be in the top 10, and I'm putting them at number 6. Number 5. All right. Who do I got? Number 5, I'm going with who is originally number 15 on this magazine's list is Phil Mickelson. You're number 5. Let's face it, it was a crazy year, and he did have a lot of influence on especially on the PGA Tour because of what he did. The whole tour changed, and he made a lot of players on the PGA Tour a lot more money, and he definitely, by leaving and doing what he did, he was helped pull a lot of people over. So, Phil, you're number 5 on the list. Number 4 is, I'm going Rory McIlroy. So, on the opposite end of the spectrum of Phil is Rory. So I'm going to say Rory's number 4. He had a lot of pull for keeping players, I would imagine. And when Rory does anything, it's pretty like influential. Like he makes a statement. Everybody has, he's very highly regarded as a person. Great things people say about him all the time. So Rory, you're number 4 on my list, and they had you at number 10. So you were at least in the top 10 on their end. Number 3. I will go. They had you at 5. I'm going to bump you to 3, and that's Jay Monahan, the commissioner of the PGA Tour. You had a ton of influence. Now, you had a lot of negative press and some positive press, and you made some massive changes, which were good but didn't look good because of how you were forced to do it. Regardless, you had a huge influence in the game, and you were put in the spotlight, and it is what it is. You did a lot of things. So I'm just bumping you up from number 5 to number 3, and going from number 3 on their list to number 2 on my list will be Greg Norman. Because let's face it, love him or hate him, it doesn't matter. What matters is he influenced the game hugely this year in 2022, and it's been a crazy year. So I don't know what the future holds, and if we're going to see that kind of juggling around and wildness as we go into 2023. But Greg Norman, I think, should be bumped up from number 3 to number 2, in my opinion. Number 1 is going to be Tiger Woods. He regardless of what the guy does, he's the number 1 influencer in golf every year, all the time, regardless of what he does. The guy only played a few tournaments. He's supposed to play in his tournament, but he withdrew. So now we're waiting on the father-son PNC challenge. I think he'll be able to play there. I think he gets a cart. So his plantar fasciitis I didn't even know he had that. Where'd that come from? Either way, he's out of his tournament, the Hero World Challenge, and he's in. But again, whatever he does, it's massive news. He plays in a tournament, huge. I went to the Augusta, the Masters, for my very first time. I got to see him play. That was exciting to see Tiger play on Sunday, follow him around. It was fun. It was fun to see Tiger. I wish he had done better throughout the year, but I think he's getting there. Hopefully whatever's going on with his feet is going to recover quickly. And then, like, honorable mention, Bryson actually is a huge influence in golf. He's not only a YouTuber, but I would put him like number 11. He's also doing the long drive competition. So he is like that sport. He put that sport, it was always on the map, but he really took it to a whole nother level by competing in these long drive competitions. So this year he did it again, and he nearly won the thing. So he is having a massive influence in the game of golf, just not only on the tours, but on the long drive and on the social media YouTube front. He's doing great things. So that is my top 10. I think the magazine, it's neat that they came out with this. I think it's lacking considerably people that should be on there that aren't on there. And I think the order of which is suspect, to say the least, because I guarantee that Good Golf and Rick Shields get more watch time than I guarantee they got more watch time this year than Tiger Woods. That I would gamble, I would bet that is true. Now, Tiger didn't play very much, but whatever. They got more views, they get more engagement, and the younger generation would rather watch them. And that's a fact. So That's why I think this list is a little suspect. Let me know your thoughts. Who do you think should be on the list that isn't on the list? Who do you think should be in the top 10 that I left out? Comment below. Thanks for watching. See you guys soon.